I'm going to show you how to take an old desk and turn it into a rustic potting bench. This is an old desk that I got from my daughters. They were using it in their room as their craft desk, which is great, you know, that they had something they could use like that, but it has paint and everything all over it. It's got this really, really bright pink on it, which I actually think I'm going to leave there because you won't see it very often just when you open it up. And so the first step that I did was taking off all the hardware. And I'll go ahead and save that because you never know when you're going to want to use it later. And then I'm going to put on a fresh coat of paint and wait for that to dry. I don't have to worry about painting the very top because I'm going to put a palette top on there so that it matches everything else that I have going in my greenhouse. But I do want to do the very edge of it. The next step is to just sand down all the edges and corners so that it has a nice rustic look. I really like doing it this way because I feel like it pulls out a lot of those details that are in the woodworking that you kind of gloss over otherwise. My next step was to cut a bunch of pallet boards the same width as the desk. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and sand down the top, but just a little bit on the very top, because what you want to do is you want to leave the character and take anything that could splinter. After getting the boards all sanded, I decided that sanding those edges just wasn't enough. It was when they were butted up against each other, but the ends and edges that hit the edges of the desk, I really felt like it was too abrupt a change. Like it just looked like I had set the boards on top. And so I decided to go ahead and do a 45-degree angle on those edges so that it meshed a little bit better. The only thing that's a little bit difficult about this angle cut is that you have to change the length of it based on the thickness of the board. So you can't just set it at one level then go. You kind of have to adjust it. I've already placed some wood glue on. Now it's just time to place my pallet boards, and I'll use a finishing pneumatic nailer to connect them down. Now that I've got my boards all attached to the top, the last step that I have to do for that is put some Thompson's water seal over it just to protect it from all of the water that will be in the greenhouse. Now it's time to put on all my little drawer pulls and knobs. And this is really, this is the fun part. You know, you get these really fun, creative pulls and knobs, and it makes a big difference on how the entire piece looks. So I think it's really worth it to invest in some high quality ones that are, you know, really have some good character to them. Because of the kind of screws that I'm using to put these handles on, I needed to add an additional little wood blocking to connect them to. I didn't have any nuts and bolts that I thought would work very well for this particular handle, and so just using these black wood screws, it was perfect. But I did have to add that extra block to the back. And all that I did with that is I connected it with a pneumatic finishing nailer gun just to hold it there until I could connect it when I was actually putting the handle on. Since this is in my greenhouse, I also want the drawers to be able to be cleaned out really easily because, you know, I could have different kinds of fertilizer, seeds. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to keep in the drawers at this point, but I'm sure I'm going to come up with something. So I had this extra sticker laminate laying around that I had actually gotten for free at a garage sale. People get rid of all kinds of construction stuff if you go and watch for them. It's amazing the kind of ingredients that you can get. So I'm just going to stick these in. I cut them to size. They're really easy to do. You just score them with a X-Acto knife and then you split them. So super easy, not a big deal. I'm so pleased by how this potting bench turned out. It turned out so perfect for my greenhouse. It's exactly the look I want, which is the amazing thing that you can do when you make things custom made for your own space. Hopefully you've gotten some ideas of what to do with your space and how to keep more things out of the landfill.